Oh, good evening. We got 9 in already. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Y'all in here quick tonight. 48 seconds. 10. All right, y'all come on in. Uh this is gonna be an exciting discussion on the night. So glad y'all could join us. Good evening. Where y'all at? When y'all come in, tell us where you at, where you from. Y'all go ahead and share this as well. Share the broadcast. All right, we got a good little number coming in. Y'all come on in. Good evening. It's Thursday night special. Hey Tracy. Hey Trishonda, how you doing? Whole different vibe tonight. Ayana, glad you joined in. All the way in Texas State University. Hey Tuesday. Ayana, I was supposed to send you that song. I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead and send a text message out to somebody or share the link to let them know we're on tonight for this broadcast. Brought to you by the Soul Stir. Okay, cool. I'll give it 5 more minutes and we'll get started. I know how people are. They rapidly fall in. Hey, good evening, y'all. Got about 3 more minutes. We'll go ahead and we'll get started. Hey, Dana. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started tonight because hey, who's here is here, and somebody else may come in, may not, but we're so glad you stopped in tonight. So I told you last night at the end of our class that I think about a lot of things, and I told y'all that in the direction that I'm moving in the direction that I'm really focusing my life and my energies, not only the mental health community, but the state and condition of communities, particularly the Black community, which I think we believe everything that's going to be changed is going to be done through legislation. But I'm the one that believes that the family structure is key to it, right? And everybody has their different perspectives and opinions on that, but I have mine, and we want to share this. I'm glad all of you who are here have joined in. I know we have a goodly number, and remember, you can share this later if you want to share it with somebody. You can go to the Soul Stir on YouTube, and it's easy to share because it's streaming live to there right now. So you can share this. I'm so excited about this topic tonight, and actually, I'm going to, after further thinking, I'm going to do a series, a dilemma series. And when you think about a dilemma, it's a difficult choice between two difficult alternatives, and especially when the outcome is equally undesirable, right? So, a dilemma you find yourself in, it's almost like picking the lesser of two evils. So tonight, I wanted to gear my area, and he really, dedicate these discussions tonight. I have two girls, and I often think about them and the things that they might have to deal with. I spend my whole entire adult life dealing with young men, and I've been around, of course, I've been a young man, been in and out and around young men, and even men now, to be able to talk about some of these things. Now, tonight, those who were with us last night, that was Bible study. Now, I have a perspective tonight, but we're going to have real talk straight, and just really get some feedback. One thing y'all can really do to help this discussion tonight, and I have a guest who's with me. She's backstage. I'll bring her on tonight. And actually, what's so crazy about this is I got this idea going. And as I've shared it with a couple people, and our guest tonight is a friend of a friend, and she's out of California, and she's going to be coming on with us in a second to join the discussion. But we've got a lot of great guests already lined up for this series that we're doing with the dilemma, and so I'm excited about that. This is the particular topic for tonight, which we may continue it to a part two at another particular time. We don't want to prolong it too long, but it's just to be able to talk in a different avenue. One thing that you guys can do is, if you have questions along the way, I'm going to try to do my best to answer some that you may have. And it's just that my perspective, but I'll do my best. Also, you can create your comments or put your comments in the comment box, which keeps it interactive and interesting. And I'm going to kind of moderate the discussion. And I'm going to try to press buttons. Y'all know how it is. I'm going to press some buttons, some hot topic issues, and we're going to see if you guys are ready to be real and address these. Now, I want to say that we want to be real, but we're going to be mindful. There might be, if you got somebody under 10 that's watching, you might want to take them off. We ain't going to be too bad, but, we're going to be talking about things that adults have to deal with here on tonight. But we're looking forward to you being a part of the discussion. So we see you, and you, as you know, we all have the capabilities to place the discussion up on the screen so we can see what you got to say. All right, so it does matter. We'll try to keep up that as well. So the successful Black woman's dilemma. How does one describe or define success is the first question. Everybody who's listening here tonight is successful in your own right. Success to me is not necessarily tied to material gain, but it's a crucial part of that. And there are some of you who are fit this category of being successful and finding yourself in a dilemma, even though you're married. If y'all paid close attention yesterday, I didn't say that this was just for single women, because there are some women who are married and find themselves in the same place, a dilemma, right? Because they find themselves, even if there's a man present, there's not a man present. All right. So in today's society where the role of man is being blurred, or the identity or identity roles or identity values of man have been minimized. I think the man himself don't know what his role is in a family or to be to the woman. So, and I want to look at this tonight, and who's to blame for this? Who's to blame for the psychological and the emotional and sometimes the economical gap that we find in right now? And statistics will show that between the African American male and the African American woman, it's a gap there, and that gap needs to be bridged. Some of it comes from economic oppression. What we teach our young girls as a young age, because of the cycle and because of maybe what we've experienced or what we've seen, we teach our young girls to go get an education, which I'm all for that. Education can unlock a lot of doors. Go get your education, and your education will in turn lead you to a good job. A good job will fix your situation, and you can move out of your mother's house or move out of the place you have, and you can get your own space. You can have your own insurance. You know, Beyonce, independent woman. All my ladies, throw my hands up at me. You know, I can do my own thing. You know, I don't. She has a line in that song. Don't depend on no man to give you what you want. The shoes on my feet, I bought them. House I live in, I bought them. I depend on me. And that was the anthem, right? Y'all remember that back in the day? That was the anthem of independent woman. Nothing wrong with the independent woman. And there are women who will disagree tonight with one word, which is submissive. You know, a lot of men can't handle that word. Women can't handle that word, which is a word that has to be involved when you're talking about marriage. It depends on if you're, you know, if you're not a Christian or you don't too much subscribe to the Bible model of marriage, then that might not be something that you ascribe to. But just because a woman is successful doesn't mean that, and particularly for Black women are out of the home doing all these things out of necessity. They found that they had to do that to, if not be the breadwinner, be the mother and the father, but to compensate. Rarely you'll see in a Black family where a Black man makes enough to take care of the entire needs for that whole house. And his wife then has the option of whether she wants to stay at home or not. But that's no longer even an option. That's old, antiquated. You hardly ever see a woman say, I want to stay at home. I would argue that some would if they could afford it. If your husband was a millionaire and he told you you didn't have to go out and do it, a small percentage of that would go down. You go out and do it because it's a necessity, not necessarily because it's a desire. And so let's clear that up as well. And so I think we're going to talk about some of these things. And I want to bring in a lady tonight. And I've gotten her acquaintance. And as I told you guys earlier, I am floored and surprised by the number of great guests I've been able to get lined up for this series. And I don't even want to announce them yet, but I'm excited. And there were a couple others that were supposed to be on the night. I'm trying to diversify the group, young, the old, different parts of the country. And this lady tonight, she's a mutual friend of a friend, and I think she after talking with her, she's gonna be great for the discussion tonight. She's very straightforward. She has a lot of experience. I would, by all accounts, consider her to be successful. Let me tell you a little about her. Her name is Tiffany Bell. She's out of California, I believe Pasadena area or Los Angeles. She can come on and correct me here in a second. But she described herself as being a confident woman, a hardworking woman, a caring woman. She has two children. And we're going to talk about this tonight. She's been married twice, and she has no problem talking about that and with those experiences as well, because we got to cover everybody, because for everybody, it don't always work the first time, right? And we gotta address the issue tonight, because there are some people who think that a woman's ability or a person's ability to stay married to one person makes them successful. Sometimes there are some people who are just married because that partner has chosen to stay there, not because she has done something so special to make him stay there. There are people who stay because they're honoring their commitment to God. So we have to stop doing that divisiveness. I have a guest who's going to come on later on in the series, and she's in politics, and many of you may or may not know her. And she's was telling me today that in her world, in her realm, most of her problems come from Black women. And if it wasn't enough for the Black man to be absent to deal with Black women, and so she's one who's been in risk management 15 years. She was in risk management consulting, and she handled like 15 different school districts, and she did it, her and her assistant. So she's done it. She's successful. I'm gonna bring her in. Let's see if I can bring her in. Hey, Tiffany,
Hey, how you doing?
how you doing? Good to see
I'm
you.
good. I'm good.
Yeah, and thank you for being our first panelist or guest on this series. And you can see as it goes forward to help me set the tone. And I'm so glad that our friend told me to, as I was asking, told me to ask you about coming on. And I enjoyed our conversation leading
Me
up to
too.
this one tonight. So I'm going to begin with. Do you believe that what would you say the dilemma is for the successful Black woman? And when we talk about choosing between, what have you found in your own experience is your dilemma in making difficult choices as being a successful, which I would say you are a successful Black woman who has taken care of your children.
I would say that it's twofold. We're talking about professional and private life. In professional life, you've always have to walk that tightrope regarding what perception people have of you. So if you're strong, if you're articulate, if your delivery comes across too aggressive, um, you have to always be ready. You can't slip. I mean, this is something simple as what you have on. I mean, I used to walk into meetings and they said we were just waiting to see what you would wear. They didn't care about what I was going to talk about. They were more focused on my clothes. Luckily, I had enough sense, so that carried it over too. But they were more into my clothes. So those type of stereotypes of how you carry yourself, your diction was really important. Really important in the business area, but on the personal side, you get men saying they want a successful woman, they like independent women, they want a strong woman, but when they get that, it's always a battle against their manhood. You might be a little too strong. You might need to calm it down a little bit. That kind of thing.
Well, what's too strong? I mean, because y'all know Black women have a reputation of being combative.
Well, that's the
Why-
thing. You might not be being combative, but your response might not be the way they want it. Because I think a lot of men deal with whatever image they were brought up to.
yeah.
They should be strong. They are the man of the house. They are this, they are that. But usually, if you're an independent single woman, I'm the woman of the house. This is what I do. I take care of my house. Anything else that you bring is extra. Like, you cool, but I got it if you're not here. And I think a lot of people, they say they like that, but when there's another option, they don't like that.
Okay, so
For
what would you
instance, if I say, "Can you mow the lawn?" and they're like, "Maybe I'll do it tomorrow," I'm like, "That's cool, because I'm about to call the gardener. He'll be here tomorrow." That
Well,
might be offensive to some people.
yeah, yeah. Wouldn't that? And some do that. A lot actually do that. Since you can't do it, and if you ain't gonna do it when I say do it, I'm gonna step in and do it.
Right. And
Uh,
handle it.
and handle it. There's different perspectives when it comes to that, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
say you wait on them, but some say I jump in and I'm gonna take care of it because that's what I do. I'm a boss. If that's your approach, you got to have a special type of guy to take care of
To be
that,
able to
right?
have
To do. And actually, if you have to do that all the time anyway, either he has voluntarily yielded his role, or you might be the one. I'm not saying you, but you might be the
right.
one really running that thing.
Right.
And so I think it's hard, and I think I use a word all the time, contentious.
Mm-hmm.
It create that. Sometimes we do things that create contention, and I think the black man, and I want to put this up here today. I think that what happens today, right now, what black women are expected to marry down before they marry out. There's a statistic out there that black women are far less likely, right, to marry outside of their race than African American men. Right now, I'm all for love in any race, right? You love who you love, black, white, whatever. But there's a difference in how we're raised. There's a difference between I think women have commonalities, but races have things that are unique to them. So what happens is black men, oftentimes you see it in the NBA, you see it in the pros. The moment they get successful, first thing they do is go for a Dominican or a Brazilian. All right, do you find you know what I'm talking about, Tiffany? Or
Mm-hmm.
that's something that generally happens, but they're expected to marry down before they marry out, because you can look down upon, because now you said something, you have a different perspective. You say black men are out there. A lot of women say there are no black men out there. Why do you say that? And I know, again, you might have a different perspective being married twice, and now you have a new guy. So you don't seem to have no problem.
No,
uh,
I don't.
Everybody's case. So, well, let me hear your perspective. Tell everybody your perspective on that.
I
Uh,
wouldn't personally. I wouldn't date outside of my race. I mean, I've seen a white boy. Oh yeah, they're cute, but that's about the extent of it. I'm not interested in them intimately. I'm not interested in them even financially. I have friends too that said, you know what, I'm tired of black dudes. I'm gonna get me a white dude. I'm like, ill. That's good for you. I'm not doing it, and I'm not interested in it. I wouldn't. And in the same token, I'm not gonna say I have to have a guy in a suit and a tie, and that makes somebody marry up, or a guy that's the gardener, then I'm going to marry him. No, I'm going to marry who fits my personality and who makes me strong, who makes me happy, who's also, and I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to marry somebody that's financially stable. I don't need to be taking on extra kids, because with taking on extra kids is going to bring that extra thing. When I say something, you're not going to like it
yeah.
because I'm the boss, but I'm not wanting to be the boss. That's what I want. That's what I think. You made a comment about that too. Like, then you're bossing up, or no, I'm not bossing up. I'm just handling my business. If I want the line mode, I want the line mode today. If you can't do it today, then can you have it done by Wednesday? Can you do it by Friday? But if it's 3 weeks down the line, then I'm gonna call somebody to fix it. I'm not gonna say, if you don't do it when I say it, it needs to
Mhm.
be done. But if we're the only people on the street who got 3 feet of grass, that's a problem.
What if he's working? What if he's out
And the
there?
thing about it is, if he is working, that's cool. Because you know what? I can go outside and mow the lawn. I don't have a problem with that. I got a lawnmower. See, that's my thing. I can take care of myself. I can take care of you. And I'm that kind of woman. I'm a cater to my dude. Cater meaning whatever that means. Cook, clean, whatever. But he's going to do the same for me. I'm not waiting for him, and he's not waiting for me to fix his plate and things like that. If I'm going to fix the plate because I want to, and he respects me in that.
Yeah, not because you have to. So
No,
basically,
no, no, no,
yeah.
not because I have to.
So
No.
you probably don't ascribe to traditional gender roles per se. Like,
I subscribe to gender roles that make sense. Now, if
okay.
you kind of like the bossy dude, like I said, you said, I'm like, no, that's not, we're a team, truly. I don't need to have a daddy. I had a daddy. I had a daddy, a grandfather, uncles, godfathers. I'm one of those lucky women. So I have a role model. I know what a man should do. I know a man should get up and go to work every day, help take care of his family, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would joke about this, that you would see oftentimes now the man dropping the lady off at work, and
Mm-hmm.
then he riding around in a car with the AKA license plate
Okay.
tag.
Right.
Delta, and in the middle of the day, that's how you know it's her car. And she
Right.
dropped
Right. Right.
and see what has happened is the African American male and the African American woman are actually under the same system of oppression, but we don't realize it. But a system that oppresses your mate, it affects you. It's like
Right.
in a marriage can only work unless there's one. If you are in competition with each other, it's not going to work. My
Correct.
successes are your successes, and my failures as well. So what has
Right.
happened is the black man now is since he is the same boat as the black woman in terms of the oppression of the system. But I said this before, the enemy, if he's going to take out a family, you got to take men out of the homes. 70% of African American homes, children are born out of wedlock. And I'm not judging anybody who has a child of wedlock. What I'm saying by that is that means the father's probably not going to be around. And even though you can raise a son, I know a lot of single women who raise sons, but it takes a male. If they don't have a father in their life, they better find a male figure, one who teaches them how to love a woman, and how to. And I think number one, I think my dad's generation was like this. The best way they showed their love was to work. That was the first thing that a man did. Was he work? I used this illustration before. You go in the Western days, and the guys out there, popping the horses, and you can't be out there with the horses and then be in the back of the wagon at the same time. So I have to let my girls know, Daddy got to work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want stuff, so I'm blessed to spend time with my girls, but my dad, he wasn't able to. He loved us, but he had to get out there and hit it because it ended up on him. But on the same light, my mom did not expect him to work 12 hours and then come home and fold the clothes and cook and wash the dishes. So you have a different generation of women say, I work and you work, but just because you work and he works, that doesn't mean neither one of your responsibilities are negated. So those things have to match out. So when we talk about marrying down, thank you, Tiffany. I love your straightforward answer. We talk about marrying down. What we mean is this, right? Intellectually outmatched while being economically emasculated. So what that means is, we talked about this before. You said, don't bring me no brother that can't talk. Can't use proper diction, don't know how to talk to me. And as we were talking, you want to go to the bed, but you're not getting in my head. Let's talk.
Correct. That is perfect. That is correct.
Go ahead. Talk about that intellectually outmatched.
I've never been this person. I'm never going to just go to bed with somebody just because they're real cute. Because I always say, well, who'd you go to bed with before me? Yesterday, because you was cute yesterday too. So I have a little bit more self-respect, And so if I can't have a conversation with you, then we're definitely not having sex. I mean, sex is just sex. Let's keep it 100. If you're into the person, then it's wonderful. But just meeting somebody and this is who you screw on Tuesdays, just because, what is that saying for you?
Yeah.
That's, if you don't have nothing to talk about after we get out of bed, are you still stuttering and you can't conjugate a verb? That's a problem for me. Or if I'm white, because me and my girlfriends, we have a thing when people say wrong things, we text each other and just text a word like, what? I don't want to do that all day about my dude. Like, what did this fool just say? I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It makes you lose respect for them, truly.
Yeah. Well, we say it has to be a combination, right? So there are women who find themselves in a position where they're intellectually, right? Because intellectualism often involves some education, right? Sometimes you get the education, you can be in different arenas, but also economically speaking, what do you do when? And this conversation does just not need to be happening in the Black community, just to single women, because married as well. There are a lot of men who are married to women who have issues that they make more money than them. And some of those women make it harder by saying, I make more money than you, when in the fact that, man, it should be whatever we have goes into this household, and there's some men are secretly they say, I'm proud of this woman and I want to see her do well,
But
right?
they
But
don't.
at the same time, they are secretly uh,
Hating on them.
hating on it.
And that was my thing with my second husband. You know, oh, he
uh,
was smarter than everybody. Let him tell it. But
really,
then my career went a certain way. I mean, we're kind of in the same field, but my career became a consultant. So everybody knows a consultant makes a lot more money than the regular person that just goes to work and does the same job.
right.
That was offensive to him. He tried to say it wasn't, but it was. That was an issue.
Did he ever think you did anything to make him feel less than about that, or did he create that in his own mind?
No, he never felt like that, but it was always a resentment kind of thing. You could tell. He never said anything, but it was more like, we were in the kind of same field. So if I say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" What now you should have probably did this. Don't use blue ink, use black. Something real minor. And I'm like, really? you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it was little stuff like that, and I'm like, you're a hater.
He was trying to find some kind of level
Anything.
of controlling, right? And
Yeah,
most
but then in the same tone, yeah. Oh, you're doing a great job. That's you bomb. You bomb. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. I gotta say that, right, because you want to hear it, but low key, I'm really kind of jealous about it.
Yeah.
And there's so many out here that are listening today, right? You can have a degree. That's a good point. That's Taisha's making. You have a college degree. That don't mean you're intelligent. That just
Mm-hmm.
means you finished. A lot of times intelligence
Finished.
comes to life experience. A degree won't teach you how to love a woman. A
Mm-hmm.
degree won't teach you chivalry or respect. A lot of those things
Right.
come from your mother,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I get a mixture from both. My dad, he wasn't the vocal guy, to talk about, and this is a good one, Jack. I'm gonna come to that. Why are men intimidated, right? Uh,
Correct.
and intimidation evolves from insecurity. So
Mm-hmm.
I am secure who I am. I'm not intimidated by any man nor any woman, and oftentimes intimidation comes is we compare ourselves with the woman and realize everybody had different paths. There are some women who had better opportunities than men, and it didn't have nothing to do with their gender. It just had to do with their environment and where they had come from. So that intimidation is from insecurity. Only a strong man, y'all remember this, only a strong man can handle a strong woman.
Right.
But here's the dilemma again. What does a woman do? She does everything she's supposed to do. And y'all help me out there. People have asked me, you got anybody you can hook me up with? Y'all tell me where they are. I don't know. I know you say you finding them in Pasadena, but where
No,
are
I didn't say no, I didn't say
they falling out of trees in Altadena out there? But here in Texas, I don't know. So watch this, Tiffany. Here's what happens. Just say there's a guy out there, and what happens with girls is they're so focused on their education, they get up by the time that. And this is different from blacks and whites. When I was at Abilene Christian University back then, before it got diverse, the white kids were getting married at 20, 25 years. Now I got married young. I got married at 22, which was young. So you get room to grow, make your mistakes. I did it white kid style. They go
yeah.
there. Their parents tell them find a mate. That's the first thing you need to do. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. That's the first thing you need to do, because that's the most important thing that you need to do is to find you a mate. And then, get your education, get your career, all that stuff will come to you. The black woman's charge is opposite from that. Girl, you better get in there and you better get you a job and make as much money as you can. And sometimes it's because auntie and mama, they had to do it on their own. So they're predicting that the chances are by the time you get there, you're going to have to do it on your own as well. And uh, and 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 they miss out a window. All right, so then just say there is a guy out there somewhere, y'all. Ladies, y'all tell me where he is. Y'all holler at me in the comment. A guy out there that fits the bill, right? And so now here's your dilemma, not yours, Tiffany, but the ladies who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to either compromise on what you want, because if you ask the lady, what does he want? I want him to look like Boris Cujo. He might look like Cujo, but not Boris. But he might be sweet, but you don't want him because he don't look like Idris, right? Or what if he makes a lot of money, but I'm not attracted to him? What if you're attracted to him, but he doesn't make a lot? So then you have the dilemma. What if he's What if he's educated, but he still doesn't make a lot? What if he says, I do volunteer work because I'm a humanitarian? So we have this box, and then you find the one that you would think would be a good catch. But once he realizes that he's a good catch, you know what men do? When men realize that they're a good catch, they all of a sudden take advantage of the numbers, that they realize there are more women out there that are available and successful in doing things than there are men. So what he does is, if he meets one that's good, he's not going to settle quick, because he's going to say, you know what, I realize I can get any one of these. And he ends up becoming a player, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, but it happens because he realized there's options. And I'm not saying this to bash males. I just want brothers to rise up. But the fact of the matter is, I think it is disproportionate. And I think you look at the prison system, that black males are disproportionately incarcerated. You think of 70% of homes born without a father present in it to raising it. That's a big thing. So how does a young man know how to be a young man without his father? Now, if it wasn't for my mother, I'd probably be dry and quiet like my dad's family. Don't say nothing. My mom's side of the family is more outgoing, but my dad's side is right. So that man shows you how to work. You work and also how to find your place. Go ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you. I'm agreeing with you. I don't know. I've been lucky enough. Like I said, I had a father, a grandfather, all that kind of stuff. So I know what a man is supposed to look like. And I think some women, like I hear you saying things about what men have. I think sometimes some women don't know what a man should look like, what's expected of a man. And a man isn't somebody that's just trying to buy you somewhere, take you to dinner, just trying to show you out and then get you in bed. A man is your partner. A man is your friend. A lot of people say, like me and my first husband, we were high school sweethearts, went to college together, got married, big, wedding in the newspaper, the whole deal. But we had been together since we were 15 years old. So we made real stupid mistakes, and we cheated on each other. That's what happened. And there's no, and it was like, what the heck? But, for whatever excuses there were, this is who you've been with all your life. And we got married, like you said, at 24 or whatever. And we were like, we were dumb. We're best friends now. I mean, we're still friends. That's the thing, because he was my friend. And people would say, what do you miss most about being with him and stuff? Because that's still like our little joke, like, oh, when we're 60, we're going to get married again. That's our joke. But it was like, I miss my friend. That's what it was. You know what I mean? He was my friend. And a lot of people don't have that with their spouses, male or female. They're not their friend. They married them because, it was what you were supposed to do. It's because my friends, I don't want the stigma of getting divorced. Like I said, my family, I was the first person to get divorced. My mother and father married, all my aunts and uncle married, my grandparents were still married, and here you go with your little trifling self getting a divorce.
Did they ostracize you?
No, they did not, because it was crazy. I mean, the thing was, when he cheated on me with some other chick that was married, and she got pregnant. They had some babies. Now, it was like, my grandmama called me, and this is a black grandmama. Hey, baby, come over here this weekend. Here's a check for you. Go get you an attorney and get rid of that. We don't stay married to somebody that got babies with somebody else. You don't have no babies. And I was heartbroken, like, no, we can fix this. She's like, girl, we can't fix this. This is a wrap. And it was like that. They was straight up like that. And it was no judgment. People laughed. And I mean, but we were friends. Even in the divorce, in the courthouse, the judge was like, you guys have to make a decision, like, who gets the house, who gets the dog, who gets the cars. We were both in tears, because this is all we knew all our life, each other. And now we had to separate because we made two immature, stupid mistakes. And we just like, she could have it, he could have it. We didn't care. It was no fighting. It wasn't ugly. And we're best friends now. I mean, still, my kids know them. I mean, we're good, but it was just a mistake.
Yeah, I heard a guy say before, you don't correct a mistake with a mistake.
Correct.
And traditionally, you say, okay, I made a mistake, they got pregnant. That don't mean you should get married. That's an old school. I never believed that. So now you're gonna have the baby, and later you're gonna have a divorce. So I think it's important. Friendship is important. How do you develop friendship? Because that's difficult. See, I think we have this bracket. Women don't often understand how men think, and a lot of the information they're getting from girlfriends. That's why I said. Someone says, "How do you come on?" A black married man to talk about the single woman's. Not the single woman, successful woman's dilemma. Because I got sisters, I got
Yes.
daughters, I got aunties, I got church members, I got cousins. I've seen a lot of great women that get labeled as what's wrong with her. Have you ever dealt with that? Let's talk about that. What's
Oh, you kidding me?
single?
That's like the biggest insult in friendships that I have, or I had to kind of come to people when, like I said, we have a good, group of friendships. Pasadena's a close knit city. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody went to school with everybody. All that kind of stuff. And so when all our friends started getting divorced or things started happening, they would call me. Hey, what do you think? I said, hey, I'm not the divorce counselor. I don't want to be that person. Or what do you think? Should I cheat on my husband? I'm like, hey, I'm not the cheating. Please don't. I don't got nothing to do. Or should things like that. I'm like, you didn't want to do that. That's not who I wanted to be. And that's what it was. But then guess what? As the years went on, all of our friends that got married in that span of time, they all got divorced too, because things happened. So my embarrassment initially, because this is me, I'm here, I'm out in front of the street, in front of everybody. Not only did I get a divorce, but my husband had a baby on me too. So it was double. So, not only you shame already because you're getting a divorce, now your husband got this old random baby somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. It was twins. So it was really crazy. Yeah, it was like kill me 5 times, but it was good. I mean, I learned. And so I was like, I'm good. But my mistake was my second marriage, because then like you said, you try to right or wrong.
Right.
In my right or wrong, I went on my Christian values, what my dad taught me. You get married, you have kids. One daddy, that's it. This is who you're married to. So I was like, okay, I'm getting older. This guy is a nice guy. He's good enough. He's cool. I'm going to get married to him. I'm going to have babies with him. We're going to be cool. I'm probably never going to love him like I love my first husband, but it'll be cool. And then I had to have a reality check. And I think a lot of people don't do that because they're living for the outside world. I was like, I don't even like this dude. Yeah, he cool, but I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I got my 2 babies, so I'm good. Okay, I'm done with you too now.
Yeah.
And I was stood on that, and I was good. And I'm good now because I could stand on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you said something that's key, crucial. There was a poster, John Singleton's "Boys in the Hood." I seen this years ago, and on the poster it said the problem. One of the taglines to the poster was saying the problem with black on black crime is that nobody sees it, right? For instance, the police officer, everybody's seeing that, but we're not seeing the drive-bys, and we're not seeing us killing one another in the street. So it's not amplified. Like the cops are. I can't believe the cops are still doing that with the cameras on. It's been happening for a long time, but even before we got, can you imagine how much stuff that's happened without the camera phone?
Yeah.
But black on black crime, nobody sees it. I had to clear this up tonight. I think this is a misconception. Every single woman don't want your husband.
Man.
And you said it just true. Just because you're single doesn't mean you want somebody else's. Or because when I said the black on black crime, a lot of times I've seen in counseling and observation, married on married crime is just as serious as single on. So we got a lot of misconceptions in the black community. You just said it. She's married. So watch this. She's successful, but she's dissatisfied with her husband because he cut the yard, because he won't come to bed, because he won't do what he said, and she's just as dissatisfied. So then the single woman thinks that, oh, I want her life, but the one that's married don't want her life. So I said this before, half the people that are married want to be single, and half the people that are single don't want to be married, and nobody is content with where they are in life because it's all mirage. The married woman's gonna put on the front, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. And she's only gonna do that because she wants to keep everybody off her man. Correct. She may not be taking care of her man, but that's the frost she's gonna put up. So then it creates a cycle between women, right? That may be true. There's no pattern that predicts how a person can and will do whatever. That depends on the person. That's not about their status. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed. And I'm saying that as a married man, that what I've seen as a minister, as a counselor, don't go by what you see. Don't see she looks. How do you look at somebody and say she looks like she gonna be fine? Just listen, because she's cute or because she's successful. So I think that it goes across the board. You can't predict. There's some good stuff coming in here, Tiffany. Let's see what they're saying. So what do the married women do? Y'all tell me, what do the married women do when they're in that that situation. Who wants someone else's headache? That's a good one. You don't want him. Why you think somebody else want him?
I think married women they need to stand up when, I can only speak for women. And like I said, I have friends. We all have friends. We know friends that are married to people, and they roll their eyes every time he walk. Me and my girlfriends, our joke was, my girlfriends that have gotten divorced, like, when you pull up to the house and you see the car and you like, dang, he here. Look, he lives here. What you mad about?
Yeah.
This is what happens when he lives here. He gonna park his car in the driveway.
Yeah.
So he's home. So either you want him to be home or you don't. And I think a lot of people live for other people. They don't want the image of a divorce. Like a lot of my friends say, well, I don't want my kids living in a broken home. That's not fair to them. I said, but you're teaching them dysfunction because they see the mama sleeping in one room and the daddy sleeping in another room. So that's what you want to teach your kids? Or when you guys are all in the house, everybody's fighting. But when you hop out the car to go to church, everybody, here go the good family. We love everybody. But they just cuss each other all the way to church.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're on the edge, and then it presents a model, and they don't know that they're struggling too. That's why I said it's a dilemma. I'm trying. Or let's take it to a spiritual realm. What do you do? I realize this all the time, that there are a lot of sisters, you can go to our church or other congregations, that you didn't know they were married, because they come by themselves, right? They come by themselves. They had a husband, and as a Christian, that's what we're taught. The first thing, unequally yoked, right? Don't yourself to unbeliever. Don't marry him and then say he's not going to church. I remember one time I was doing some counseling, and I don't never disclose personal, people or different things like that. But the particular person, I was trying to tell them, after I counseled them on their, that met with them several times, and I said, okay, they wanted to get married. I said, now, you listen to her. She's telling you what she's not going to do, and he's telling you what he's not going to do. Don't think because you walk across that aisle and you put a ring on it that's going to change them. People really don't change that much. And I think too many women I see are trying to, I was talking to someone today. They said, build a bear, build a man. You'll cut him open, and you're going to give him a backbone and a heart and some spine, and you're going to make him. Listen, y'all, stop trying to train them. Stop coaching. You're doing too much coaching. A real man, you ain't got to coach up. You may try to coach him up, but a real man he gonna stay committed to God and what he ought to be doing. Y'all want a project? It's too late. If he's 40 years old, he probably is what
he is who he is.
Yeah,
he is who
he is who he and it's difficult. That's why I have here on the screen black women are often made to feel like it's their duty to help a brother out. Let me help. There go Beyonce again. She talked about, and I'm gonna help you upgrade you. And that's okay. That's cool. You want to upgrade a brother, but I mean, it's a difference between an upgrade and just full on support. I think all of us like support. There's some good men who are working hard, and they need that financial support from their wives. They need that spiritual and that emotional support. So I think that's good. What do you say to those people who make you feel like you're going to hell if you are divorced? I've said this before, and y'all hear me say it all the time. Divorce is not the worst thing that a person can experience in their life. I know that, and I talked about this last night in my Bible study. As Christians, we have this cancel culture where we cancel people out. We ostracize them because they've gone through situations when, in fact, you don't know what their situation was. Only God knows. But you can survive divorce. Now, we do believe, if you talk about scripturally, the Bible talks about when you divorce and when you can get remarried again and all those different things, that people do what they want to do anyway. I don't think you should judge anybody by that. I can have my perspective as a minister, right? And I can have my perspective on it. But, the same people who might tell you going to hell to get divorced lie, cheat, steal. And I think all of us have got to work on ourselves and depend upon the grace of God for that. And so I think there'll be a lot of more people divorced, right? That if it wasn't for the grace of God, or if one of the persons had not chose to stick it out, those old school women would stick it out, and they knew, the guy had like 3 women on the side. He would beat them, He would do whatever he want to, and they just like, you got to stay with your husband no matter what. A new generation's coming along, they have a shorter leash. you know, they don't get married with the expectation to hang around for life. So I think I like this. Divorce can sometimes help you get to heaven. I agree. You know what the purpose of a marriage is? If you're a Christian, to give glory to God. Some people have been married 30 years, and I've said that there's marriage that has given no glory to God because all they do is argue, they fight, they don't, you know, uh, she said they enjoy saying you can't remarry. No, obviously you can do whatever you want to do. Just like, and so there are people out there talk to me all the time and says, I know I need to get divorced. I want to get divorced, but I'm afraid of what other people might think. And I think that's a whole nother subject that's serious. The divorce is a sort of a debt. Think about it. Let me ask you this: you said you've been divorced, and that's why I'm glad you're on here. We get, I like your story. Now, let me ask you this: you've been divorced twice. Would you say that that with each one of them, it was painful in its own right? Did nobody gets married intending to divorce, right? Because people assume
No.
that. Well,
Like I said, my first marriage was my high school sweetheart. I was going to be married to him. We were going to be married for the rest of our life. Then something happened. My second marriage was a marriage out of duty and out of my Christian values, what my daddy taught me, what my mom and dad taught me. You marry one person or whatever, you have you don't have 500 baby daddies. You know what I mean? This is the perfect union. You marry it's your husband, you have kids, you live. So that's what I did. I was trying to right my wrong over here. I'm gonna get married, have kids, whatever. So my second marriage, I can honestly tell you that it was solely for me to have kids in the right way. You're right, in the way that you're yes, I do. I'm gonna get married again because I know better now. But that's to Marie's question. So my second marriage, I knew in my heart, I'm not going to be married to him all my life. I don't love him like I loved my first husband. I did this because this is what I was supposed to do. He was a nice guy. He was nice. He was nice. Like that thing we said, he was nice. He bought me things. He was a good father, all that kind of stuff. He's still a good person today. But I didn't love him like I should love my husband. And I knew it. And I was like, I will not be in a loveless marriage on my side. He loved me to death, but I didn't love him. And that you have to be honest with yourself and honest with the situation. And when I used to sleep in my bedroom and he slept, let me tell you what the point was. I slept in my bedroom and he slept in his at a certain point. And we got divorced when my kids were little. My kids are 17 and 10. So my baby was in preschool and the other one was in second grade. So about 15 years ago. And my daughter had her friends over and they were upstairs playing. And my baby was like, hey, this is my dad's room. That's my mom's room. And such and such. And they were just playing. And I was thinking, what? She thinks this is okay. She thinks that your mom is supposed to sleep in one room and your dad is supposed to sleep in one room. And I said, no. I don't want her thinking that. I want her to see a loving relationship and parents are supposed to sleep in the same bed together. I don't want that image for her. And when she said that, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be here. And I filed papers and got a divorce and it was good. I was not heartbroken. My first one, I was heartbroken because that was crazy. It was just crazy. A lot of emotions, a lot of everything. We were a Jerry Springer show, waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But this thing now, my new boyfriend, oh, definitely would marry him.
Really?
Will marry him.
You think you will?
Oh no, I know I will. We will. I love him. Huh? Yeah.
I mean, once
he was married once, and he was married for what, 20 years, like his high school. I mean, his college sweetheart. But one of those things too. You married him because that's what somebody told you to do. This is the right thing to do. But loveless marriage kind of thing too. I know how to love. I know what you're supposed to do in a marriage.
Yeah, there's a phenomenon that happens that we see oftentimes too. That when people get divorced, somebody just because people match differently. Just because you don't fit with someone else doesn't mean they wouldn't make a great spouse to someone else. I hear that as well. So for somebody to think that, because it's all about connections, are all about compatibility. The marriages that last, you said you got marry your friend, compatibility, going to the same directions. And so sometimes we discard people who come out of marriages because if they broke up, that must mean they're not marriage material. And sometimes you just out of immaturity, sometimes things happen and it don't work out like that. You know what I mean? And I think it's so important. Before I won't go too much longer tonight, but before I close this up, I got to deal in the sexuality piece, because this is a tie to a lot of this when it comes to relationships with men and women, and the dilemma that Black women particularly find themselves in. And I know it can fit for all women, but we're talking about African American women. Statistically speaking, most African American women said that they were dissatisfied interpersonally with their partner, but they were satisfied physically. Right now, the Black man has been made sexualized even in the media. All right, everybody, when they speak of Black man, we all know we're talking about, we all know that's a brother, and brothers do this and this and that. So the Black man, in order for compensating for his lack of power and influence, sometimes in his workplace, sometimes in society as a whole, the only place he feels he can be potent is in the bed. I said this earlier. You said you didn't disagree with this, and I loved it. Obviously, the thing with the pimp, I talk about a pimp. The pimp actually gets taken care of. The pimp is the one who gets pampered. The pimp is the one who wears the fine clothes, and he sends his girls out to do the work for him. And what happens is with a lot of men, they get by because, you know what, he don't have to bring in a check because he's handling up, and all of a sudden Black men think that that's what all Black women want. That's why I brought to the table. And I like this because I'm gonna stir the hornet's nest right now. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they turned the country upside down. The conservatives went nuts. The people like, that's not wrong, this and that. It's a lot of debate and disagreement on that. And some people say, well, that's woman empowerment. Dude's been saying that for us for years, and we just flipped the script on it, and we just empowerment. My perspective is, which might be different, I don't think that's empowerment. I think it's doing the opposite, which gives guys the impression that relationships are transactional. And all you got to do, she wants the cash. That's what she wants, and she know what you want, which is not the case. But I don't know. Fire back. Give me an alternate perspective if you have one. That's why I have you on here.
Dude, that's not me. I'm not. That's just not me. I'm not shaking my butt for cash. And sex is sex. You can get sex from anywhere. That's why a man can do what he needs to do, or a woman can do what he needs by themselves. It's a connection. It's an intimate connection. And some people like having sex with multiple people or whatever it is they're doing. But that's not me. And I don't have my life like that. My kids aren't like that. The people I hang around are not like that. So it's, I think maybe it's your age, maybe some, if you 20, all that's real cool. But nah, I'm not into any of that craziness. I don't know. But a pimp, I've never been in a pimp, just in a pimp per se. I'm not sitting around taking care of no man, dropping my check off and making him all nice, and I'm out here hustling all day. That has never been my mentality.
But there's some that do that.
Yeah, they need some self-esteem lessons, because you wouldn't do that if you knew better.
Yeah. You wouldn't. And again, I want to.
But people do. People do.
People do some strange things in the name of love.
Strange for change.
Strange for change. Exactly. They come up with the money. You don't know how grandmama and auntie came up with that money. Mm-hmm. And they do it. Sometimes it's because they have to do. I said nobody does. Money is the root of all evil. Nobody would be doing. People would be doing half the stuff they were doing if money wasn't involved in it. But that's usually the backdrop of it, of the exploitation. And so, I want to kind of wrap this up tonight. I know we've been talking for a minute, and I know that it's important to really get a grasp on this dilemma. So as we kind of go over this again, the dilemma of the successful Black African American woman is, number one, who's going to be with her on that journey, and how do we create more effective partnerships? I often said, being the head is being the leader. It's not being a boss. It's not being controlling. I think we have self-esteem issues in the community, you know, among, would you not say, among women? And,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Black women can, in many cases, need to do more supporting with each other, more sharing. Like, I appreciate your transparency tonight. That's what we need. You know, you unapologetically share your story, you know, and say what it is, because our stories shape us, define us, they help us to, you know, to think differently. And I think that's important as well. Uh, and some people are thinking that we're saying we're not knocking men who make less than you. What we're saying is he got to try. You know, that's the limit. He's got to be bringing something to the table
Mm-hmm.
other than what he can do in bed. Like, he's got to be bringing some leadership and some spirituality and some, you know, some purpose and some support. And it's you know how we have different love languages. He may show it differently. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some people are more verbal. Some people are more you know, action oriented. But just like women are different, men are as different as well. Y'all shoot me a few questions before we go. I want to make sure you know, we're talking about. You got anything else you want to add, Tiffany?
I just want to say, and honestly, I think people, women, men, whoever, and when you engage in a new relationship or a relationship, be honest. You need to say exactly who you are, what you expect. Don't bow down. It's not an aggressive expect. It's basic stuff like you know, respect. I need it. Like when me and my partner got together now, it was like, well, what would you not stand for? And I said, I don't need him. I need a man that is secure, meaning secure in who I am, secure in who he is, secure in the whole gamut. And I said, what is it that you need? And he said, I would never deal with someone that cheated on me, because that's something that happened to him. Like I couldn't stand for that. And so when you have those real discussions, you know where you stand. If you know that you only want dinner every Wednesday night at Roof Chris, then you need to say that, because when he take you to Black Angus or the Sizzler or some crazy McDonald's and you're mad, you can't be mad because you didn't tell him. And you can't say, okay, McDonald's was cool today. And then you call your girlfriend and say, you know, this fool took me to McDonald's. No,
Right.
you need to be honest.
We
Say
don't.
exactly what you want.
You can't read
Yeah,
my.
say exactly what you want. Because if you don't, then you won't get it. And you cannot be mad in the end. You can't.
Yeah.
And
And
that's what I've learned. Don't just say it just to be nice. Well, I didn't want to come off like I was mean or I was doing too much. Tell the truth.
yeah. Yeah, there in relationships, there's a lot of like a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of passive aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
We lack a lot of assertiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm going to talk about Sunday. A lot of microaggression, where
Right.
it's aggression, but it's almost silent aggression. Like, he comes in the room and you walk out. That's
Right.
microaggression. You didn't say anything, but he knows through your body language and your disposition what you're trying to articulate. And I'm gonna be quite honest tonight, and I'm sorry, y'all. There are some ladies out there who just aren't marriage material, and there's some men out there who aren't marriage material. You
Right.
got no business in no relationship with nobody else. Listen, you got that baggage, and you got to fix your baggage and unload some of your baggage before you bring it into the marriage or the relationship. Expect somebody else to fix it. That's why, you know, I say in a marriage, that person is to complete you. I mean, to complement you, not to complete you. If you're looking for
Right.
completion, you're in trouble. I need
Yeah.
him to complete me. I'm already complete. As a Christian, I'm complete in Christ Jesus. As a man, I'm complete because I know my mission and my calling in life. You know, I've been married 20, almost 18 years, 18 years. And I consider my wife as being a compliment, not a completion. I was complete as a man, even at 20, 21 before I got married. What I mean is not that I'm complete, done growing, but I know who I was and I know what I wanted to do. And when you view, and she mentioned this, that's true. This is true. She mentioned settling, right? It's
Mm-hmm. That's
settling
true.
when you don't express your values up front, when you don't stand for it, and when you settle, you're sure to end up in trouble. And ladies, when
Yeah.
you see it and call it for what it is, you can't change them, you can't coach it up. And I think it's the same with men as well. So the things I always say, marriage amplifies things. The things that you like get better, but also the things that you get worse. So before
Mm-hmm.
you get married, she ignores you when you're trying to say something. Then you say, "Oh, that's cute. I like it." When you get mad, you ignore me. That ain't cute when you get married. You know what I mean? We got to talk this thing out. Or him, you be like, he get mad at certain things. But then that's cute while you auditioning. But that ain't cute when he grabbing your arm, you know what I'm saying, and following you around and trying to control you. So I think we look at things prior to marriage, and then we ignore it. If you see somebody, find them working, find them, and it don't about the dollars, but make sure this person is trying to do the thing for us. Now let's address one more group that's listening today. There are some people out here who are single, successful, and don't care about it, worrying about nobody else. You know, if it comes, it comes, and
That's me.
that's what I encourage us all to do. Stay busy on what you're doing. Don't sit around. I'm waiting on. My life is paralyzed. And somebody says, "Well, why we can't penalize a successful black woman? What else is she supposed to do while waiting on a husband? Do nothing."
Mhm,
And you know,
mhm.
our bill's gonna get paid. She got goals and aspirations too. So you got to continue to press. I call it wait patiently, and then continue. I think the black woman constantly stays in the dilemma. I think black women, your whole life is filled with making choices in the realm of the dilemma. Black men die disproportionately younger. My mom just became a widow. A lot you what you'll see is auntie, grandmama, all of them sitting around, and man, it's gone. You know why, ladies? I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because we internalize the stuff y'all do, and we either find a way to cope. Negative coping behaviors. We go to the club, we go to our friends, and that's why we generally don't like to be around too long, because we internalize it. Because not only is the system been historically against us, but we can't handle it if you are as well. You know, and so Jesus made a point, which I believe, if you're not for me, you're against me. And too many relationships are are neutral, right? You don't know if the person is for you, and they're there, but if you're not enhancing my life, you're really weighing me down.
Right.
So y'all got any questions for me tonight? I'm thankful tonight, Tiffany. You kicked us off with your perspectives. I'm telling you, we're going to deal with this along the way. I'm excited, as I earlier stated. I got a lot of great panelists lined up on particular topics, and I'm really excited to do so. I'm so glad that you joined me tonight, and I love your perspective and your candidness to these conversations. Again, this is real, real uh, conversation. This is real dialogue that we all need. We had Bible study last night. I think Bible study is amazing and necessary for those of us who are believers. Sometimes we just want to talk. You don't want to place. Sometimes you don't need people throwing scriptures at you all the time. Sometimes you just need people who understand where you're at and where you're going through, and to say, you know what, I've been there. You're going to come out of this. It's not a death sentence. Divorce is not a death sentence. You can still be hopeful, right? But grateful at the same time, right? I'm hopeful that and then here's another one, Tiffany. What if? Because you got them raining in Pasadena. I'm sorry, but again, they're not raining in Texas. Watch this. Is there anybody out there who's listening tonight who actually have tried to come to grips that you may never get married, and you have to reconcile that you are a good woman, but you may never get married? I want y'all to think about that for a second. That's got to be a difficult weight to bear. Or you were married before and you may never get married again because of
Mhm.
your experience. Um, I don't know what that's a real thing we have to deal with. Half of our churches are single people, and churches historically were designed for marriage, but the actual demographics have changed now, right? And so it changes. This is good. Look at this. There are a lot of people out here who can identify with this concept of feeling I'm a good woman. I have a whole lot to offer, but will I ever get married? And that's real. That's the forgotten, I think, of the church and of the society. And so, one thing I can think that would help. I think married women and single women, people say they shouldn't have nothing to do with each other. Just
No,
like
they should. They should.
that, yeah,
They
I think there should be some dialogue in that, and look at that as being my sister instead of saying I'm better than her, I'm different than her.
Mhm.
You might just be lucky, or you just might be. You don't mean like you might be married because your husband wants to follow God or stay with you. It ain't because you doing nothing that great, or
Mhm.
vice versa. So I think I think there's some who say they I may have been married. I'm good. I'm happy being single. That's a good one too. Do we tell ourselves? I'm not saying her, but do we tell ourselves we're happy? Because what else are we supposed to do? I may never get married again, and I'm blessed. And I think, we just got to be content where. That's a good point. We got to be content where we are and thank God where we are. Paul said one time in Scripture, "If you're married, don't seek to be loose. If you loose,
Mhm.
seek to be married." Now, hold on. We got a real comment coming. I thank you, Tracy. She says, "I hate being single." Uh, that's real because there's a hater listening. Girl, how you hate being single? But
Mhm.
how you gonna say that and you married? Or
Mhm.
maybe she wants a partner. Maybe she's tired of holding all the financial weight. Maybe she wants somebody to go out to date with. I think that's important. If their husbands allow it, some men are intimidated by their wives hanging out with single women. That's true as well. They'll say, "What does a single woman have to offer you? What are they gonna? What's she gonna talk about? She wants you to go to the club and get out there anyway." And I think trust is trust. If you trust your wife, it don't matter
Where she went.
where she go. You ain't got to keep your eyes on her. And I say this before: if a person's gonna do something, ain't nothing you can do anyway.
Mhm.
I mean, why you sitting up following them, tracking them, worried about them? And I think that's important. That's real, Tracy. That's the quote of the night. I hate being single for double emphasis, and I'm interested on hearing that. But nobody's judging. I'm sure somebody understands that. So, any other questions tonight? I thank you, Tiffany. I'm gonna. I know you got to go. I'm gonna drop you off, but I'm gonna stay around for a few minutes and answer some questions. And I appreciate it. We're gonna definitely follow up. Uh,
I just want to say thank you. I mean, a lot of people say, you should have this negative thing going on because you have been divorced, whatever. But it is a testimony, and I want people to know that you can walk away from it strong, with your head held up. I mean, I know I went to two different churches at that point trying to get the answer like, will I be okay if I get a divorce? You know what I mean? And I had to go to a whole nother church to say, it's okay. Because my church was like, oh, you going to hell. And you feel bad because you keep reading the scripture and you don't find the scripture. I kept saying, I can't find the scripture that says it's okay for my husband to have a baby with somebody else and I'm still supposed to be married to him. Where's that part at in the scripture? That was my argument. But
yeah,
you have to give your testimony and move on and be thankful and be like, you know what? For whatever reason why I went through that trial, I praise God for it and I thank him for it because I'm a much better person because of it.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Thank you.
thank you for letting me tell my story.
Yeah, I love it. And as we go along, might have to have you come back
Oh, I
uh,
love it.
on here. So y'all enjoy. How's the weather out there in
It's
Pasadena?
good. It's California. I love it. It's a
Yeah,
good day.
I know.
It's
I
a
used
good
to
day.
love my time out there 5 years, and then I like that Cali weather.
It's a good day.
We got the Cali weather right now, 75 degrees. So it's the
Oh
fall.
yeah, all day, all day.
Feeling it. Well, thank you for joining,
Thank
and
you guys.
soon, and we appreciate it. Tell Ra hello.
I will. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining tonight. As I stated earlier, I got a dynamic lineup coming of individuals who are going to be on this series that we're going to have, and it's extra overtime. And I'll announce them ahead of time. I think my next one's going to be Monday night if I have it correctly. It's an actress that many of you know that's going to come on with me and deal with some of these discussions as well. And we're going to really look forward to sharing that with you. Um, I like your comments tonight. Just pray that God will keep me busy in His kingdom and content. Again, Tiffany did a wonderful job sharing. I like how she was just real straightforward. Forgive yourself, forgive him, your situation, and move on. That's beautiful as well. And some of y'all may not know Jack. I grew up with Jack and there in Corsicana. She lives all the way in Massachusetts now, but it's been good seeing you on here. And go way back with all of her and all of her family. Single women can serve God in a way that married women cannot. Married women must serve God according to the obedience of their husbands. Thank you, Tiffany, for your transparency. Thank you for the real talk. Well, if anybody else don't have another question for me, a thought to answer, it's so much meat on that bone, y'all. But we don't want to. We could be here all night talking about the the difficulties and the dilemmas that single or that married, that just single or married African American women face. Oftentimes having to be the mother and the father, oftentimes having to raise the kid, having to be the breadwinner, the spiritual leader. And it comes from a lack of fatherhood, a lack of real fathers, real role models. You can't daddy from a distance. You got to get down and with it every day. And then, ladies, also, if you got a good man, don't demasculize him. Let your children see, and you respecting him and lifting him up, because good dads that come home don't come a dime a dozen. One thing I can say about my dad, he's dead. Every day of my my upbringing, my dad came home every night, and he came home smelling like work. And that impacts you as a man in a way that you can't only imagine. Where's daddy is at work. Daddy's at work, uh, or he's at home. And that's what he does. I think this is good. Jesus is the only source for our answers. We can't look for a green or a red light from man. And that's one thing I want to say as well. You can talk to a lot of different people, and they can give you different answers on different things. It's like me as a minister. Sometimes I have issues that come up, and I have mentors, guys that are ministers and been around for a long time. And sometimes if you do a polling, you'll find that everybody gives you different answers. And you got to take those perspectives, and then you got to come up and carve your own answers. Uh, and you say, well, I have these conversations from a man's perspective. I think, Monica Maria, I've given you a lot of the man's perspective, but it's difficult. Men would have a different perspective, and a lot of it I don't think you would want to hear, but I think you need to hear. Because if I think I was watering a lot of it down for the sake of letting it beat, and I don't want to come on here going too hard, but men talk differently behind the scenes about women than they do to you all. So men are from Mars, Venus. That's totally true. A lot of times women have no clue what men talk about, what we think about them, our perspective on them. So you think and you're so far away from it. So a man can be in a room, and he can have a perspective about a woman that's in the room and told the other man, and the woman might not even know that he spoke that. So I think it's the man, and what they're going to say. What they're not going to say too much differently. They're going to say, hey, some of that is on them. In the age old discussion between men and women is going to go back and forth all day. How do you know if it's a temporary location with someone or your destination with them? I think time only tells that. I do think, though, there are some early signs, and I think most of those have to be vetted out. We don't date anymore. As a book I read, they discontinued it. I think the guy later changed his perspective. Why I kissed dating goodbye, and dating or courtship was something that was usually done in person. I know a lot of women now. I have one time I had a cousin. I was trying to hook her up with somebody, and I thought the guy was nice. And the only way he would communicate with her, he went to her Facebook page. I said, "You want a number? You want a number?" He had to go to her Facebook page first. And once he went to her Facebook page first, he went through all the profiles. He sized up. Maybe he thought that was her life through Facebook. But I think a lot of it can be deterred by really knowing who you are, and knowing what that you're gonna get from this relationship. And if you see any signs that don't settle, don't sell yourself short just because you want somebody. Because at the end of the day, again, you don't correct mistakes with mistakes. Love is not a bandage to cover a wound. So you don't need anybody just to, because I didn't have my dad, I want to make him my dad, or because I'm lonely. We do a lot of weird things when we're lonely. So I think time will tell that. And watch this, ladies. You don't listen. If a man wants you, you know it. I had to say, I gotta say that, because a lot said, I don't know if he liked me. Is he coming to see you? Is he calling you up trying to take you out to eat? Then he don't want you. But he never come around. I can't bring him around my friends. He don't want to come around your friends. He's a grown man. I don't want to go around your. Listen, if a man wants you, he say, take me around your daddy, take me around your mama. I want to go around your cousins. I want to meet your kids. It don't matter. I think that stop trying to fool yourself. And real men don't play games. There's no mistake about whether he like you or not. If you still trying to decide if he don't, I can't tell if he like me, then he probably don't. Let me just say that, because if a man, real men go for what they want. And I think time frame and growth of relationship, should dating for 10 years and not be married normalized, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's far too long. Uh, really, there's a lot of situations out there that's like this as well, Jack, where like they're just there, and the guy's been married, they live in a house together, they cohabitate. But my question is, why won't he marry you? Is he, that's a whole nother discussion. A commitment, right? That would come up, Marie, if there were guys here. Commitment issue. A lot of men don't want to commit, right? Because that involves a long-term life. Think about it. I have a bigger life insurance policy on me than I would have on my wife. It's expected that I carry the load, right? That I lead my family, be the best husband I can be the best father I can be. I'm still a son, help out my mother as she ages, be there for my siblings, be the best I can in my career, my person. There's a lot of pressure on men. And on top of the pressure on men, now we got to turn around and try to live up to the expectation of a woman. That's a difficult thing for any man to do. So men tend to run because of all the pressure and the expectation that comes with manhood. And a lot of women don't know that because we don't discuss that with you. That's why we take it in silently, and we die of hypertension and stress because we don't talk about those things, because it ain't cool to talk about those things. So I think it's so important to know that what we do when we don't like things as men, we run. And what we do right now, we're running from commitment, because y'all got to be honest. In today's society, it says, put me in a house, buy me this car, buy me this bag. If you ain't buying me this, if you ain't doing me this, and men have a pressure, I got to keep a wife. I heard this saying, y'all said before, it's not true. Happy wife, happy life. Your aim in marriage is not to make your wife happy all the time. A true leader doesn't make everybody happy all the time. Your aim is to carry out God's will in your family. That may not make her happy all the time, or you can't make him happy all the time. I'm sorry, Jordan, but I'm letting them know tonight. Jordan, I'm letting them know tonight. But it's okay. And this is the overtime tonight. And I think if he doesn't want to come around your friends, that doesn't mean he's hiding something. That just means he might not be interested in exploring. Sometimes it might have to do with you. And I think we falsely attribute, oh, he doesn't want to come around my friends, that means he's hiding. No, that just plain and simply means that he's probably not interested. Because if he's interested in you, he just wants to go where you go. He wants to be what makes you happy. And oftentimes your friends end up becoming his friends. So half the time y'all have friends that he don't really like, or he may not care for, but he's friends with them because they're your girls. Vice versa. He might do things that he don't want, that he may not want to do, but he's doing them because of you. Because again, you want to craft him. You want to build a man, to make him be what you want to be. And watch this though, Celeste, I see what you're saying, because think about this. We've made the excuse, right, of saying the man is holding me back. I ain't got a job. You want to control me as an excuse for not taking your responsibility as a cop out, right? So we run, and then we blame the woman, and then the woman's sitting there saying, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I thought, you jumping hoops toward him, for him, and then he ends up leaving in the first place, in the second place. And then, like we start off the conversation saying, you don't really have real conversation. He doesn't touch you deep in your soul. He's not your best friend. He doesn't. India Arie has a song says he moves me, and India Arie, she be rapping to him, though. She had a song say he is the truth. Like she was rap, he's the truth. I love this man. He's the truth. And that feeling probably was reciprocated to her. That's why she could write that he was the truth, because he made her feel like she was the truth. Now watch this though. When you lose footing with a man, it takes a difficult time to regain him. Once you cross him, it's hard for him to come back to that. Because we already believe, we categorize her as just being like everybody else in the world that's out to get me. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just how it is. All right, I'm gonna chill out if y'all want y'all. Any other questions or thoughts in this tonight? I thank y'all for stopping in. Steady love, that's another one. Steady love, because he is the truth. He's got that magic. NDRE be working on y'all. He's got that magic. Can you imagine? I don't know if she's in a relationship or not, but if she wrote the songs about he's got that magic, steady love, he's the truth. And there's songs that talk not about what he can do for her, but there's songs that talk about his spirituality. And I think what'd you say? Real men go for. I got married after 6 months of dating, but we knew it in 3. Yeah, that's I'm not a one size fits all. This works. That worked for Dina in a particular situation. Sometimes people are not that unfortunate. They date short time and they don't give it enough time. That's why you said earlier there's a time frame that has to be put on it, but there's processes. Most people don't even go through premarital counseling. When I do premarital counseling, I do it for 6 weeks. I have the couples fill out a 90 question questionnaire, and we talk about everything from how they plan on, and I do it for the weddings, or how they plan on raising their kids, finances, all of those different things, and they can't read each other's responses. And there have actually been some people that, unless they ask me, I said, at the end of this, you can ask me whether or not I actually say, I'll actually give you a referral, so to speak, to say, hey, I believe this marriage is going to be successful, unbiased, right? I'm a referee right down the middle. There's some people that, through the mistake, they had me fooled, and I thought they would be fine, and they weren't. They looked so compatible. They were lovey-dovey, all on each other, and I thought they were, and they just weren't. Then there were some people who I thought that, no way, this is going to work. and they were. And then there were some people who I called it right. And that's just how it goes. And so Jordan is on here tonight. Before we go, oh yeah, bro, I'll definitely shoot that to you. It's definitely the weight I place on myself in carrying these expectations, fear of not being able to match up those expectations, a commitment issue, right, Jordan? Because you guys' generation more than ours, you have the weight on you, right? Um, um, you got the weight on you. What is the expectation for the young black male now? I don't think it's clearly defined. What are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to do? Especially when the black female is achieving success at an alarming rate. And then how do you, again, if you say I'm gonna and I like, oh, here we go, Jordan. My insecurity came from not being secure in my faith in God, and that's true. I think when you trust God, you trust that He will prepare, like the Lord prepares the table. He will prepare your bride for you in due season. The hardest thing that I think for me would be to tell somebody is, how do you tell somebody who's doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and you still can't find a spouse, and it's your desire to? That has to be a tough weight. And then, as you get older. So, but that statistic that I said earlier before I go, 70% of African American families, the babies are born out of wedlock. That already is a red flag right there. That means we're in the hole before we begin. And once you take the man out of the home, and you attack the family structure, then it's going to crumble. I'm telling you, we're going to win this battle in our families and our communities. We're not going to win it at the ballot box. Now, the ballot box is necessary, but we don't need more legislation. We need more development. We need more empowerment. We need more counseling. We need more intervention in our families, and we need more open dialogue and understanding between men and female, to have a better understanding. There's no one size fits all. Just because something worked for you don't mean it's going to work for everybody else. And I think that's where my lesson from yesterday in our Bible study comes into play. You can't have this cancel culture that just cancels people out because you don't understand it. I'm not in the business of doing that. Me, as a minister of God, as a man of God, as a counselor, my job, I'm in the business of restoration. I'm in the business of trying to understand where people came from and to get them to acquire better skills to go to a different place. All right. So I believe you're the Tylenol that I take so my hair hurts. That's a good one. That's her and Daniel Caesar. You're the best part. Y'all have anything else tonight? I'm gonna get ready to go. I think I reached my peak, my pinnacle on tonight. Again, I got another one planned coming on Monday because I wasn't expecting to have this many great guests who are going to line up for these discussions in dealing with in dealing with the dilemmas. But I hope tonight was informative as we're dealing with the dilemma of the successful African American woman. She has a challenge. Let's not forget. So this was for brothers too. Let's not forget about our sisters. And let's I wonder who's raising my daughter's husbands right now, and for somebody, I'm raising somebody's wives. My wife and I were literally raising somebody's wives. And maybe somebody who's listening, you have a daughter, you have an auntie, you have a cousin, and she's a great young lady. She's doing everything she's supposed to do, and she can't find someone who would lead her, especially if she's a believer, down that godly path that she ought to go. And that's really a tragedy. But it's not too late for us to correct it. We can do what we can do. I can do what I can in my community. I might not be able to save the United States, that I can work in the Dallas area. I can work in the Lancaster community to do my part to restore the family system and address it. And also to make sure we don't allow people to suffer in silence and in isolation, and create what we said is safe spaces so people can share their stories without criticism and judgment, in order to be able to grow, in order to be able to recover from whatever it is that they're going through. Yeah, that is, Adrian. Who's raising your daughter's husband? That's crucial. It's you know what, and chances are, who's raising your daughter's husband? His mama, his mama, or his grandmama, because his daddy is disappeared. He's gone. He's locked up. He's running. He's left the home. Um, and that's a difficult thing to do. Uh, so, God bless y'all. Y'all got anything else? Oh. Nothing else. All right, I'm gonna. So I don't have I don't have my acapella tonight. I'm gonna hit my Coltrane again on my dilemma discussions. So y'all missed my jazz coming in tonight. But y'all leave y'all's comments, and I'll notify you of the next one. We're going to continue to try to improve on this to do it better. It's going somewhere. Let me tell you, with the Soul Stir. Like I said, I actually have a whole. I'm not going to tell you until I get it lined up. I have a lady's going to come in with us Monday. She's an actress and an author, and she is going to really be great. And it's going to be a one-on-one discussion again. And I'm excited about that. And I'll give you more information on it as the weekend goes on as well. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a blessed day. And let's just continue to pray for one another. All right. I like that, Barbara. If the mom is an angry black woman, he gonna be messed up as well. And hey, watch this real quick before I go. Mamas, y'all stop trying to say your boy's your little man. No, he's not. You think you helping him by being, I feel bad his dad's not here, so I let him get away with stuff. That's not gonna help him either. He's got to, the first thing that every man has got to be is accountable. That's the first lesson I got from my dad, is accountability. If you cannot be accountable, then you cannot be successful as a man. I'm accountable first to God before I'm accountable to my wife, or accountable to the church, or accountable to my children. That's the first lesson that a real man learns, is accountability. You got to hold that rascal accountable, and the first time you got to jump on him and hold him accountable for his actions, and show him that men take responsibility always. Always take responsibility. If my household's not going right, I have to own up to that, and that's important. And if you're a single woman trying to be the woman and the man, hang in there. Hold on. All right, y'all. I'm talked out for this week. I got to save some for Sunday. While we're along this line, I'm gonna look at how we as Christians have to deal, and Jesus did too, with microaggression. It's silent, but it's destroying families and churches and homes. We do it in business meetings, micro, not passive, not aggressive, but it's micro. And it runs rampant in our families, in our churches, and I think with Jesus, he shows us how it's there. The Pharisees were doing it. It wasn't called microaggression. That's the term I'm going to attach to it, but I'm gonna show that it's there, and it is real. So thank y'all. Love you guys. I see my Cedar Valley in the house as others. Hey, there's Trinanda from Corsicana. Hey. Well, I don't know if you live in Corsicana now. Before he can be a good husband, he must first learn how to be a godly man. Amen. That's the truth. That's the truth. Please not be angry with your sons if they look like their father that hurt you. That's a great point, Sister Leah. Sometimes they see their dad and they had nowhere to get it from. And not saying you, but some women let stuff happen so long that they'll have the boy thinking that it's okay to tolerate that. And he's sitting there watching. And as a young boy, as men, we're watching. Is mom strong? See, ladies, your boy's watching to see if you're strong or you're weak. All right. Your girls are watching you to see if you're loving and caring and compassionate. So they watch different things, right? Boys and girls don't watch different things. My girls probably watch me to see if I'm going to be gentle, you know. Probably half the things that they're not watching the same thing. I mean, my wife would watch. They just want to, if dad is strong, he's tough, he protects us, but he's fun. He's gentle. He can be a disciplinary, but he can be loving and compassionate as well. So even if your sons do not have a father, you got to find or attach them to someone who you believe that you want them to look like in the direction that they're going. All right, I'm gonna go tonight. Thank y'all for leaving y'all's comments. Thank y'all for being in here tonight. I hope it was worth your time. It was an hour and a half, but it would have been hopefully watching TV or Netflix or something like that. But we're gonna continue these discussions, these dilemmas that we're facing in our community and in our homes as well, to try to give some free therapy to to us as we try to work through some things. All right, love you guys, and I'll go ahead and play an outro song, and we'll be out of here. Y'all have a good one. In the hush of night, while you're in my arms, I feel your lips so warm and tender. My one I know, the touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I never know. The blush on your cheek, wherever I see, tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender. My one and only.